Hi, and welcome.
I'm Z.
And I'm Keith.
And we're going to tell you about the movie that we just watched. But first, a little bit of a heads up.
Some of the movies we watch deal with heavy subject matters.
In order to talk about these emotionally delicate things and the heavy subject matters that we sometimes cover, we add humor and crude language to add some levity and to process our own trauma.
If that doesn't feel fun or safe for you, we completely understand. Please take care of yourself first and foremost.
And we spoil the end of pretty much every movie that we watch.
Now you know. On with the show. Hey, whoa. Hey, slow it down. Where do you think you're going? Before we get started, I wanted to do a little shout out and special thanks to our pal Paul Kodheimer, local singer-songwriter, Renaissance person, and overall good egg. Paul very generously allowed us usage of a recording of his song Temping to be used as this episode's outro music. I personally think it's a perfect fit. And one of my favorite songs of his. Please check out his extensive oeuvre at handmaderecords.com, spelled just like it sounds. Or if you want to go to Bandcamp, he's paulkotheimer.bandcamp.com. Kotheimer is Kothehimer. And he's also the guest of honor on episode 18 of our buddy Sven's podcast. Champagne is also a band. So listen to that too if you want to get more Paul, which is recommended. Thank you. Enjoy.
I did that hardcore Rebecca Louise ab workout yesterday, and I'm hurting today. My abdomen.
Bet you're missing that uterus now.
No, I don't. But I'll tell you, everyone was like, and by everyone I mean like doctors and
Thank you.
The internet was like, it absolutely demolishes your pelvic floor to get a hysterectomy, and I was like, I'll be fine. No, it does. I'm fine. I'm not pissing myself or anything like that. But I couldn't have done this a year ago. I couldn't have done shit a year ago.
Yeah.
I mean, I had the surgery like in March of last year. So, that's almost 6 months or whatever. But still, I couldn't. Oh my God, no way. It's just so much. Like, it's just so much. And I find that I like doing like, ab things now. But it does feel, it hurts in different places than it did previously. Like, I get sore where all my things
Where the
moved.
baby should be.
Exactly how I was going to put it.
I have an ache where a baby should be. What a delight this movie was. I had no idea.
Yeah.
I mean, totally different than I thought it was going to be. I mean, I thought it was going to be more overtly humorous or jokey. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I think I expected it to be more like
Office Space or something.
Kind of. That's
Office
a bad
Space
comparison.
For ladies.
Kind of. I mean, that's a bad comparison because I don't like that movie.
Yeah, no, but I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't really like Mike Judge. I mean, he's good at some jokes.
Yeah.
I don't like his politics. They're clearly...
Yeah, for sure.
And I can't believe how many people in the last 8 years are like... Idiocracy, am I right? It's like,
oh my God, I know.
Shut the fuck
He
up.
predicted the future.
Shut the fuck up.
We're living in idiocracy. Like, yeah, okay, you realize that it's just like, okay, I've never seen Idiocracy, but the argument of people are dumb
Yeah.
and therefore don't deserve XYZ. That's eugenics, baby. That's eugenics.
Yeah.
Stop doing the thing. Stop doing the thing.
Like, if you want to talk, yeah, don't
like,
get me started.
Just do a little bit of research. Just be like, is this, like, anytime you're like, this is a good point, Google if it's white supremacist. Just be like, is this point white supremacist?
Anytime you, is the data will support. Anytime you type white supremacy into a search engine, you will get critical analysis.
I do that a lot of times. I'll be like this. I'll be like, am I misremembering? So I'll be like, is person problematic, or like, is this problematic? And then I'll like,
that's different.
That's fine. You don't have to be a dick about it, but I'll Google stuff like that. I'll be like, is this white supremacy? Like, is this white supremacy? I do. I Google this. Yes. And sometimes it'll pull things up. Like, what I'm saying is, I'm not saying Google the term I am a white supremacist. Like, don't do that. I'm saying, be like, is the argument that stupid people deserve to die a white supremacist thing? And be like, and it'll come up and it'll tell you, here's why saying stupid people deserve to die is a white supremacist.
Well, I stand corrected.
Thank you. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, you have to be specific with it. You can't just be like, show me white supremacy. Like, it's not going to be what you think. You have to be specific. I
understand that. I just presumed that given the biases of...
Yeah, but, yeah, I don't know why. I think it's like, it just, yeah. It helps, too, when you use quotes or whatever. Right? Because if you quote...
See, I would think that would backfire.
I don't know.
Anyway.
I'm right and you're wrong.
Get at us for those SEOs for finding out if things are white supremacists and not showing the white supremacy.
I like it all.
Do I need to... Is there some metadata that I need to put into my cascading style sheet, or is that outdated?
I tried to Google, like, so you know how, like, sometimes it, like, the backfiring is also what tells you, like, it shows you the information that you want to, like, sometimes it's like, I don't know. Like, if you Google something and it shows you all of the negative things, or, like, if you're like white supremacy and it shows you, like, the white supremacist argument against it, you're still like, oh, that's really fucked up. And I can see where that, you know what I mean?
Right.
But I was, like, trying to like, find out if factually, because it's like, there's supposed to be, like, a higher percentage of people are, I can't remember what it's called. Intersex. There we go. Like more than 1%, or like 1% or something like that. But it's a higher amount of people are intersex than people who have red hair. So like there's like a percentage of population that have red hair, and it's like a slightly higher number, but it's a higher number of people who are intersex. So I Googled that and I was like, is that accurate? And then I found all these articles that were like, here's why it's not an accurate number. And all the things I found were like people decrying like the basis for what makes someone, like, it's like they're saying that someone that they're like, but they're talking about people that have different chromosomes, so it doesn't really count. And I'm like, that's literally how you define, that's one of the definitions of intersex. So I was like, okay, so it's a correct number, because everybody that was saying like they're like basically saying it's manipulating the data, because they're not just talking about people who have like visible differences, but people who are also chromosomally different, and that's the only thing. I'm like, okay. And the number is probably also higher because a lot of people, especially a lot of people I know, have PCOS, which is polycystic ovarian syndrome. And that is actually, or can be a symptom of being intersex. So and like every person I know has it. So like, I mean, I don't know if it's definitely, but like, it's something that like they don't tell people is a symptom of.
It's also like who?
Yeah.
How many people get?
Well, yeah, you can't.
Chromosome tests.
Right. Yeah. Right. You can't just. I mean, I've known people that have, but like.
That's fine. I'm
but
sure.
Yeah, it's not something that you can just be like, hey, by the way, I would love to.
Do I need to fast for this?
Yeah. I'd love to have my chromosomes tested.
Sure.
That'd be really cool. But yeah, I don't know if it's. Does Medicaid cover this? Anyway, Clockwatchers, yeah. I like the movie started, and you and you said this was back when when they were trying to convince us that Toni Collette wasn't.
I believe I said this was still in the period when we were supposed to believe that Toni Collette is not hot.
Right.
Like as soon as it started.
Yeah, she's just like, yeah. It was really interesting, yeah, watching it. It's like it captured a lot of what it's like to. Yeah, there was a lot to it. I definitely recommend this movie.
Some of it really hit home.
Yeah, it was so like. Yeah, there was so much to it and it really did a good job of like making you not trust anyone.
Yeah.
Making you suspicious, making you not like people just because, and like, yeah, it was so interesting. Parker Posey did such a great job too. Of course. I love Parker Posey so much. And Toni Collette, yeah, like, I was like, this is insane because this came out in 97 and she was in The Sixth Sense 2 years later. It's crazy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I was thinking about that.
I was like, oh my God. But yeah, like.
And then 6 months later, Hereditary.
It was 6.5 months, to be fair. 6 months and a head later. No, I'm just still angry. Still angry. Yeah, the premise of the movie is basically just, Toni Collette. Like, it's about, like, 4 temps. Mm-hmm. That are working for this company. And
also, I want to say before I even made that comment, I guessed wrong, like 5 different people before I got Bob Balaban correct.
Yeah, then you just stopped. You stopped guessing after that because you were like, I got one, so I won.
Yeah.
He literally, I don't remember, but he was just like, is that
Andy Kindler?
Yeah, I was like, it's not Andy Kindler.
Richard Jenkins.
I was like, nope. And you said Yardley Smith. And I was like,
oh, yeah. It's
not Yardley Smith. It's Deborah Jo Rupp from That 70s. Yeah. I was like, nope. And you were like, really? And I was like, yeah. And and then you might have just said, that looks like Bob Balaban. Or like, is that Bob Balaban? But that you seemed so unsure.
Well, sure. By that time,
I was like,
couldn't trust myself.
That's Bob Balaban, yeah.
Struggle is legitimate.
It's so Keith gets a little. I'm really good at recognizing people.
Oh
sorry. Yeah. Oh my god. I can be really good at recognizing people.
I give it up. You are vastly better at me at seeing through things like facial hair or differences in hairstyles and shit like that.
Yeah, I'll be like. I will. I'm like, this is not.
I think I'm one of those people that like legitimately would not be able to tell Clark Kent was Superman. You know what I mean? In real life.
You'd be like, oh my God, you know who you look like? That guy from that one
Henry
movie.
Carville.
That you'd be like, Henry Colonel? What?
Carville? What's his name?
His name's Henry Cookie Puss.
Harry Chevelle.
Cavill.
I don't know, man.
Anyway, I'm really good at recognizing. I'll like see someone and I'll be like, "Oh my God, I'm really good at this."
And then in terms of that, we're in one episode of either Star Trek or like The Profiler or some shit.
No, it'll be like. I'll be like, oh my God, I'm pretty sure I'm right. And then I'll be like, yes, he was in 3 seconds of an episode of Star Trek The Next Generation. This episode.
Full prosthetics.
Yeah, He played a Klingon, and I'm able to
Listen.
But I need people to know it's because I've seen it so many fucking times that I have legitimately memorized the person's like affectations, like how they move their feet. It's not just about they look the same. I'm like, this person's voice and the way they move their mouth is exactly like this one person. Sometimes I'm wrong though. Sometimes I'm wrong.
This is my coup de grace, and it will remain. I don't imagine it ever getting any better than this, but I started watching DS9 and Voyager on reruns, I think, in their early aughts.
Yeah.
I immediately recognized both Renee Auberjois and Ethan Phillips from when I saw them on Benson.
Yeah.
When that aired in the mid '80s.
Yeah. I mean, it helps when you see something as a kid and you just.
But
like,
I had not seen
internalize
either
it.
of them in anything else.
That's fair. That's fair.
In between.
That's fair. That's fair.
I mean, I've probably seen Renee in something, because he kills
yeah.
Worf's dad or whatever at Kittimer.
Yeah.
Whatever it is.
The Kittimer Court or whatever.
Moog. Moog.
Moog. The Moog synthesizer.
Moog. Yeah.
Moog synthesizer. Yeah.
Worf's Woof, son of Moog. Woofer.
That was it.
I got it.
You got
Guys. Everything's fine now.
I want to say this though. When we watched Discovery and what's his name?
Yep.
Oh God, I can't remember what his name. It's fuck.
Yep.
Shazad Latif.
Jinx.
So Shazad Latif, he was on Star Trek Discovery, the first season of Star Trek Discovery.
Good.
He does not play Kalis, if that's not what happens. But there's a reveal. If you haven't seen it, there's a reveal that truly surprised me, and I was like,
brutal.
And Keith looked up the actor. I think it was after we saw the reveal. Keith looked up the actor. Now, Shazad Latif is not in prosthetics.
Right.
He is not in prosthetics in Star Trek Discovery.
Right. Right.
And yet, I had fallen asleep, and Keith said, "Oh my God." And I was like, "What?" I woke up. I was like, "What?" And he said, "He's Clem Fandango." And I was like, "What?" And he's like, "He's Clem Fandango." And you just were pointing to your computer. And I looked and I saw that it was Shazad Latif. And I was like, "What?" And it woke me up from I was like, "Huh?" And I was so jarred. And it was all I could think about. I was like, "That's Clem Fandango." And again, no prosthetics. I never would have.
Yeah, he put on 10 pounds or something. And
No, I don't even think. It was just, he wasn't in a sound booth fucking having, telling Matt Berry to try it a different way or whatever.
Temper, Stephen.
It was one of the most shocking reveals. So, I didn't put that together, but,
Voch.
Yep. Or
Ash Tyler.
Ash Tyler.
No relation.
Great grandson of Steven Tyler. So one might say he's a distant relative of Aerosmith. I love bringing up that people don't tell me I look like Liv Tyler. They tell me I look like
Aerosmith's
daughter.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't, and also not a real person. So much in my life. You look like Aerosmith's daughter, and I'd be like, that's not.
Circa 1994, I went to a Halloween party.
Yeah.
And I did not dress up.
But
an adult there said, "Oh, are you a Nirvana?"
And you said, "Come as you are." That was really funny.
I said it was okay. It's okay to eat fish because I don't have any feelings.
You're like, something, heart-shaped box.
Little comment.
Yeah, so the premise of the movie is basically Toni Collette plays a temp who starts working at a place, and Parker Posey, Lisa Kudrow, and Alana Ubek are all temps that befriend her, and they all start working together. And then like they all become really good friends and they hang out and they really like each other, they really get along, and then a new like someone gets hired and they assume it's another temp and they find out it's actually someone who got a permanent position that none of them were offered or told about and could apply for. And so this new person that they've never seen before suddenly starts working there, and then things start to happen. Like things start to get stolen throughout the office, like
also,
random shit.
She starts clearly copying things about Toni Collette.
Right. She caught like the new person starts copying things about Toni Collette. And it's like in a really creepy way. It's weird. It's so interesting. Like there's a scene where like Toni Collette's character is at a store and she's buying a sweater. Like, or a cardigan. She's buying like this really cute cardigan. I remember when these cardigans were in style, and I know you hate this style. I love it. Because I always wanted to be able to do this, but I was too young, and I knew that it was going to be out of style by the time I was old enough to wear something like that. And also it's probably wool, so I would never be able to actually handle wearing it.
It's not on sale. It should be. I can tell you that much.
It's okay. I'll pay
Go like
whatever.
this if she looks our way, okay? We're going for the discount.
So she gets it and she wears it for the first time to work the next day. When she like takes off her raincoat, the new person that's working there has the exact same one that she's wearing. And they're like, what the fuck? Everyone's like, what the fuck? Like, she's clearly wearing your shit. And like, like all this stuff, like, but all this stuff starts going missing and they start suspecting that it's, the new girl. But then it's very clear that the company suspects that it's the temps, and they start all getting punished and reprimanded and all this stuff. And like,
but then, not directly.
Yeah, not direct.
Not
as a group.
Yeah.
Like they're all like, they literally do this thing where they take away all of their cubicles and they make them have like desks
and put in security cameras pointed directly at
like so much shit. Like it's so fucked up. And like they're not doing anything. Like none of them are stealing, or seemingly. And so they, but they just keep getting like more and more things taken from them. Like they're not allowed to ask for pens and shit. Like they get really like, like they're so like fucking, stifled in this workplace, and they start sort of not trusting each other, and their dynamic just gets completely exploded. And it was it's like an interesting thing because it really does ring true of like that sort of, like what, like when Parker Posey is talking about how like, they don't have you do anything, but they're going to keep you here because they need like butts in the seats, like there's a lot of stuff that they don't. And that's sort of true. It's like, there's this constant like dichotomy in a workplace of like people not having enough to do and other people having too much to do, and there's and never the twain shall meet, like, and it's always this sort of thing where like no one's going to get fired for not having enough to do, but someone will get fired for having too much to do.
Well, the only real challenge of this job is trying to look busy when there's nothing to do. They'll keep you here, though. It's how it works. You're part of the corporate hierarchy. There's got to be a butt in every seat or the entire infrastructure crumbles.
It was, like the dynamic was really accurate. Like there was so many.
Oh, yeah.
And, it's from before there were, some of them use computers, but they don't have like computers assigned to them. Yeah. So,
Oh God, and then like sitting at other people's desks.
oh God, it's the worst. Absolute worst. Yeah.
So accurate though.
Yeah. But there's this scene where like they're all sort of like Toni Collette is sort of like, because she's like the mousy character that doesn't really stand up for herself, doesn't really stand up, she doesn't really talk, she doesn't like to be noticed, and and she starts hanging out with all these other temps, and they're all like, very different personalities, but like, Lisa Kudrow plays a girl that she's trying to be an actress, and Alana Ubek, I don't know how
Has a boyfriend.
has a fiance that she's like, it's her whole personality that she's getting married and all this shit. And then Parker Posey is like sort of I'm a cross between Parker Posey and
Oh, here we go. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just playing.
I'm a cross between Parker Posey and Toni Collette, like where I always try not to get noticed, but then I always become Parker Posey and I'm just saying shit. And I'm not quite as cool. I'm not like smoking in the ladies' room or anything, but like I'm always the disruptor. Like even if I think I'm not being the disruptor, somehow I'm always the disruptor.
Oh man.
And yeah, there was so much. I loved her. I loved how they dressed Parker Posey throughout the entire thing.
Oh yeah.
It was so like when she's wearing like when her parents are in town, so she's wearing like the fucking like the red bow tie and like basically looking like an old school banker.
Right.
Oh God, that was so.
I like the next day when she's wearing the jacket with the wings on it, so it's her roommates.
Oh right, right. So like, her roommates of flat. That I didn't pick that up. Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah. What are you shaking your head at?
I'm shaking my head at the fact that at the bottom. At the bottom of the Wikipedia article on Jill Sprecher, the director, writer, and director of this film, it says, read more. Tatiana Gutsu, Soviet gymnast.
Okay.
Sex and the City, newspaper column. Clockwatchers, 1997 film by Jill Sprecher. Why is it the last? What does the Soviet gymnast have to do with it?
That's a good question.
I guess I should read more.
I like the fact
You can find out more in the Bible.
you can read more about it in the Bible. I like the fact that I like on IMDb when you go to Jill's Sprecher trivia that is on her page is like sister of Kim Sprecher, and I was like, oh, maybe that's someone. Maybe
I think it's Karen.
Karen, whatever.
Sorry.
No, I don't care.
Okay.
I'm making fun of her name, not you.
Okay.
Oh my God.
God.
Fellas, does your live-in roommate who you have sex with ever
With benefits. Sex with benefits. I snip the snip.
Okay. No, yeah, I looked her they're both like have just done the same shit. That's it. Like they've only done like a couple things.
I know.
And that's it. I was like, okay. And it's all the same. I'm like, that's okay. I wouldn't be like, oh shit, her. Like, obviously, you've never seen their names not together.
They have a sibling who is the CEO of the company that bought the New York Stock Exchange.
Oh, cool. So they have a lot of. They're really.
She had to put her through film school. Apparently, I don't know. Their dad was a insurance salesman, so I don't know.
Okay. Interesting.
I had convinced myself when I did a very cursory look up while watching the film that She's gay.
She's
She's
gay.
interested in
She
classical
likes-
music.
There's many things that are interesting.
And that I for real thought Iris and Cleo were going to have some kind of
Yeah.
frottage at least.
The fact that they didn't even remotely sexualize that relationship is a little frustrating.
Well, I think it's debatable
What's debatable? How frustrating it is?
how sexualized it was or wasn't. I'm just kidding.
Nah.
Again, I also thought that actor was familiar, like I'd seen him in something else. No.
She didn't. She is not. At first, I was like, "Is she the one that plays Miss Honey or whatever in Matilda?" And she's not. I don't know who she is. She's probably never been in anything else.
Yeah, she's got like 4 credits or
right.
something. 6 credits or something.
Yeah. I did really enjoy the reveal when Iris followed her home. I was like, oh my
Yeah.
God. Oh,
my
and
God.
it was like, that was like a twist in the knife. I was like, holy shit. Yeah, that was good. I think I really liked how they dealt with all of that. The fucking lunch, she sits down and like lights her.
Yeah, the whole.
Shit.
Well, and I don't think I presumed it wasn't shot in a way that confirmed this, which I found confusing.
Mm-hmm.
But I believe, wasn't it? I think that she has the same lunch as Cleo,
Yeah,
and that's what
probably.
she's setting
Yeah,
out.
yeah.
And so she's just mirroring her.
Yeah, the way that she did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I like that she takes on some aesthetic.
Yeah.
She takes on some of Margaret, some
Yeah.
of Frankenstein.
You could have been some of Frankenstein. Which is a joke that I'm going to explain. We say some of Frankenstein because there's an episode of Bob's Burgers. It's the Halloween episode of season 3 of Bob's Burgers.
They go to a costume party at
They
Teddy's.
go to a costume party at Teddy's. Bob doesn't dress up. And Teddy's like, you have to dress up. So he makes him dress up or whatever. So Bob picks a sumo wrestler outfit. He ends up accidentally.
No, it's just a fat suit.
Well, that's fine. Oh, okay. Whatever.
There's not even a diaper. There's not even a sumo G-string. It's just a fat suit.
So,
But Teddy's got a closet.
yeah, he's
with
got a closet. Well,
costumes
he's
in
got
it.
a closet, and he says, you could have been Summer
We got
Frankenstein.
some kind of Bigfoot. We
you
got
know, he's like, yeah, he says, right. He's
the sun.
Summer Frankenstein.
Yeah.
Which is just
Frankenstein
Frankenstein's
wearing a
monster
Hawaiian
in
shirt or
yeah,
something-
like
in
a
shorts
Hawaiian
or
shirt or
something.
whatever. Yeah. And Keith thought it said some of Frankenstein for like years. It was only very recently that he was like Summer Frankenstein. Because that shit is from like 2013.
Yeah.
So, which is clearly the first time Keith ever saw it. And so he thought it said some of Frankenstein. So we just say some of Frankenstein whenever we're trying to make a joke. That's funny.
At my expense.
I,
I also thought forever. This one I haven't fully corrected in my mind, but every time Zeke says call somebody cool breeze, I hear cobras.
Cobras. Cobras. Cobras.
Anyway,
We watch a lot of Bob Burger.
no, we repeatedly watch this very little Bob Burger.
We watch the whole series every night. It takes us about a week to sleep through the entire series.
To sleep through. Yeah.
I'm glad we both have that disability.
Which one?
The one where we need TV to sleep. Yeah, it was a very
It's really charming, and
Yeah.
it's
The way it was shot was really
sweet
fascinating
without being unnuanced.
Yeah, it doesn't like push anything in your face. It doesn't say anything. It doesn't spell anything out. It really like
Class is definitely a factor.
Yes, right.
Which you rarely get in something like this.
Right. Like Parker Posey talking about how she's never lived alone.
Right.
And like, or like, this is the closest, like, she has a roommate. She's like, this is the closest I've ever come to living by myself. And then like Lisa Kudrow wanting to be an actor. And like her character was her character was really interesting. I feel like, especially since you found, was it, who was it? It was Nurse Ogawa, right?
Patty Yatsuki.
Patty Yatsuki. She was in it. She was like credited in as like theater woman.
Yeah.
And Keith's like, I didn't even see her. And I'm like, I don't remember there being a theater scene, so I'm assuming it got cut. So I'm like, oh man, what would that, you know?
You think there was a scene?
I'm assuming
Lisa
there
Kudrow?
was like scenes of Lisa Kudrow doing acting stuff, which I would have been interested in seeing what that was because, yeah, like there's a lot of, you know, like Alana Ubek plays Jane, who is someone who very clearly, I don't want to say has money, but like isn't hurting for money. And
the main thing is that the boy gives her nice things.
He gives her nice things, but the way that she dresses and like her sister's an actress and stuff like that, you get the idea that she's not
right.
She's at that job because she works, not because she needs the money. You know, she's like, I'm, you know, and you know, there's, what was I saying? Like her whole thing with her boyfriend, you know, that I think the engagement party was one of the most, or bridal showers or whatever it was one of the most interesting parts where everybody's there and she's just in her bedroom getting ready. And like Iris looks and sees her and she's like completely disheveled and she looks like really upset. And this is like not long after they saw like her boyfriend with someone else. And she still gets married. Like she ends up getting married and she leaves the job and all this stuff. So it's like there's these aspects of like parts of them where you realize they're all sort of doing something, like, you know, Lisa Kudrow wanting to act like there's a scene where she's just writing her fake name or like her stage name over and over and over again. And like Parker Posey says like how she's never gotten a letter of recommendation anywhere she's worked and how like devastating that sort of is and how her parents look down on her and stuff like that. And like all this stuff of like, you see sort of the aspects of like where they fail, but it's more like where they consider themselves to be failures.
Right.
And it's really interesting. Like, it's just interesting. They're all like they're so like, none of the characters are like two-dimensional really. They're all very much their
Jane
own.
gets the least.
She gets the least, but Alana Ubek does a lot of work.
For sure.
With her.
Yeah.
And she isn't like, she would have been a two-dimensional character if anyone else had done it, or if someone lesser had done it. It could have easily been just like a throwaway character that is just there to fill up the space. She doesn't do that. Like, she's like, she adds so much to the character, and it's really interesting. Like, so many like, definitely, like you said, definitely unexpected. I think I'd seen the part where they're all like looking at the clock and like waiting for it to turn 5. But I don't know if I saw that in like a teaser or like a trailer, or if I saw that
The poster.
Yeah. No. I mean like the actual scene.
Yeah, no, I know. But all the shit, oh man, it killed me. Like all the little shit, like how she has the photo of the 4 of them and she's made a little frame out of the different colored Post-its.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fuck. And she makes herself a little nameplate.
Yeah.
All that shit. Oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, and the scene when Margaret gets we were like 3/4 into the movie, and I was
Yeah.
like, what is Parker Posey's character's name?
Yeah, and then they're like, Margaret. I was like, I looked it up and I was like, it's Margaret. And 2 seconds later, they're like, Margaret.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh.
I also didn't know Kudrow's character's name was Paula.
Yeah.
I like though that somebody calls her Camille,
Yeah.
and they're like, I think he thinks you're someone else, and she's like, yeah, and then is like Camille La Boucher or whatever is going to be her
Stage
screen name.
Yeah.
What is Phoebe's sister's name? Her twin who does porn.
Oh fuck, I can't remember.
Oh man. Anyway,
It's like Ursula or something like that.
yeah, maybe. Oh man.
But she does porn under Phoebe's name.
That's right. That's totally, man. Hands down, the best character.
I'm like, that's such a fucking mean thing to do. Is to under your twin sibling. It's not my name. I'm fine.
Right.
So good.
Twin stuff is always a real big seller. What? Yeah, I could talk them into giving you like $30.
And then Terry Garr is their mom,
Oh yeah, that's right.
and her
And
brother's
isn't-
Rabisi.
Isn't her dad Bob Balaban? Isn't that who? Her
Oh,
dad
maybe.
Is?
I saw that he was on. There was a trivia that's like Lisa Kudrow, and like every single person in this movie has also worked with Courtney Cox.
Fucking so stupid. It's like Michael Scott being like, I can't wait. I share a birthday with this person, which I can't wait to.
Terry Hatcher, or no? Is it? I can't remember if he has shares a
He
birthday with
shares
her or Eva Longoria.
He shares a birthday, I think, with Eva Longoria, so he can't wait to have something to talk to about with Terry Hatcher or something like that. Oh my god.
Woo! But the scene when she gets fired and
Yeah.
she's like, "Is anybody going to say anything?" Oh
Yeah.
man, I had an experience like that and this was in 2007. I think I was on a plane, and it was early enough, close enough to 9/11 and shit, where stuff was still fucking. Air travel is the fucking worst. Mm-hmm. Like, and this was like a year or two after. You started to take your shoes off because some dude had explosives in his shoes or something that they caught. And this person this is before we took off. Everybody boarded, and this person was just having a hard time. Mm-hmm. And they were like in the bathroom, like crying because they were going to miss like their sister's wedding or some shit because the flight was delayed.
Aw.
And they were just having a fit, and like I think maybe they were like acting out a little bit, but like in the bathroom and like maybe just kicking the wall or something. And they made them get off the plane.
Aw.
But they were like, "Is nobody going to say anything?"
Yeah.
And I was like,
Right? Yeah.
And then a couple people I was with, this only made it weirder, wrote a note to pass to her to say, like, "We see you."
No, that's so stupid. That's so stupid. We saw you and we said nothing. Hope this helps.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, I always feel uncomfortable in that situation because I'm always like, I never really know. Like, usually when people are like, is no one going to say anything? You're like, I don't know what to say because I don't know what's going on.
Right.
Like, I can't, like, I would love to say something, but I don't know. I'd be happy to vouch for you or whatever, but I don't know. I don't even know.
Yeah, usually
your
by that
name.
point it's too late.
Yeah,
any
exactly,
intervention is just going to make things worse for everyone.
Yeah.
Probably.
Right.
You're probably not going to help that person out by getting involved. I don't know. But, boy, it sure taps into some real fear.
And she's when she's like, we're all going to call in, or she's like, we're all going to not go
Fuck.
in, and we're going to show everyone, and they all agree to it, and then everyone goes in but Margaret. And they're all, and then she gets fired for it because she didn't, and oh man.
Stop it! Would you just let go? Can't you see I'm trying to get my stuff? Can I get my stuff? Thank you. I have things, Is anyone going to say anything? No, I'm not a thief. Is anyone going to say anything? Is anyone going to say anything? Isn't anyone going to stick up for me? Is anyone going to speak? I have a name, It's Margaret. Margaret with an M. Take a memo, Barbara.
I'm like, yeah, no, I'm one of those people that would have gone in because I would be like, I don't know what to do
100%.
because I'm, if I lose, I've never been fired.
That was good too, because when they first brought it up, I thought it was gonna be like the next day, or
Yeah.
It was a while before that comes back around.
Yeah,
that they talk about doing a walkout.
Oh, I was like, I knew exactly. I was like, no. I was like, one of them is gonna take it seriously, and they're gonna end up getting in trouble.
Yep.
Yeah, because I
also like that when they see the fortune teller or whatever.
Yeah.
Olan Jones.
Yeah, I already forgot about that.
It's focused on Toni Collette and her saying like, use your voice or whatever it is. But then they're like, what did she say to you, Margaret? And she was like, the nail that sticks out gets the hammer or some shit like that. I'm like, I bet that comes back later.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I was like, yep. Because this is like always how it is, which is like to an unfortunate degree. Like what I think why Margaret is like a really fascinating character is that like when Iris comes in and it's very clear that Iris is like trying to do a good job. Oh God, her first scene when
with the forms,
when she's like, try not to mess up because these forms are expensive, and she just starts typing and immediately stops.
Try not to make too many mistakes. These forms are very expensive.
like four keys.
It's all you hear is just silence, and then she crumples it up and she throws it away, and then she starts another one, and it happens again.
And then you see at the end of the day, her purse is just full
she's like throwing them into the bathroom trash, just taking them out and taking them out, and then she's like taking like the bathroom toilet, or not toilet paper, paper towels, and like setting them on top of it, so that it's like, oh, it's so accurate. And then, Margaret sort of takes her under her wing, and she's like, it's one of those things where she's like, it's okay to half-ass it. You're a temp. They're never going to show you how to do it the right way. So you just got to figure it out. Like, no one's going to be able to no one's going to care. You're going to be on to your next job by the time anybody figures out anything if you do it wrong anyway. So you're fine. And she's very much like, here, it's so her sort of direct manager who she like interacts with the most is Bob Balaban, who's like always asking her to do shit and always relying on her to do shit. And like he has like a cup where when you put coffee in it, like it's a girl in a bikini, and when you put coffee in it, the bikini disappears. And oh my God, it's so fucking funny. Like
he's so good.
Yes.
He's always great.
So, yeah, and it's like...
When they call the meeting, and he's like, I also...
This morning, Tom Briggs in accounting noticed his crystal paperweight was missing. A number of you have also reported...
My coffee mug was also missing. I mean, actually, it was stolen. It wasn't really missing. It was stolen from my office recently.
Oh, my God. It's so fucking funny. And then, like, you know, she's, like, telling Iris how she's never had, you know, a letter of recommendation. And he's like... She's like, well, he relies on you a lot. I bet you could ask him. And then... And when his character literally has a heart attack and dies, and she's like, okay, well, I guess I'm not going to get a letter of recommendation. And, like, you know,
Also, when he was like, find out my wife's favorite whatever, and also find out if it's her birthday.
When her birthday is or whatever.
No, I think but that's what's funny about it. He's like,
yeah.
Also, is it her birthday? So, whatever. Anyway.
Yeah.
I remember hearing him on Fresh Air with Terry Gross.
Oh, wow. That sounds gross.
And I'm, 2 feet tall, and I had to grab somebody who was 6'9" or something and shake him by the lapels, throw him to the ground, and then stand over him and scream at him. I mean, it was a fun, exciting moment for me to have, and I thought I eventually pulled it off perfectly well. But you do the same thing like that for months and months and months. You're bound to, at some point, something's bound to happen usually. And it was my finger. I'm glad it wasn't my head.
Did you continue with the rest of the show?
I did. And then I rushed off to the emergency room, and I had to wait for 10 hours, and I couldn't wait, and I came back and did the next show. And, it was just my finger. But it hurt.
So you had to do the next show before they actually repaired, put it in a cast or whatever?
The show must go on.
He's a professional. He's a professional. Okay, I want to say this really quick because we mentioned, I think last episode we mentioned that in our Working Girl episode, or maybe we mentioned in the Working Girl episode.
This is our last one too. We got to wrap.
Yeah, but I mentioned that we had recorded almost the entire Working Girl episode with Keith's mic off, and I hadn't noticed because I wear the headphones and I do all the things.
Z wears the headphones.
I wear the headphones
in this
relationship. All the time, though. Like, even...
Literally.
I literally am always wearing headphones. Noise canceling.
I have to clap to enter a room in an attempt to not get stabbed.
The absolute terror screams that have come out of my throat.
It was already the case that... And you made it worse. Remember the time... when the guy came to, when he fixed the window cranks and the blinds, and I just walked into your room, which I knew was going to go the way
I've told you so many times, just send me a message. I said, send me a message on Signal.
I know you.
And you said, I thought this would be better. And he came in, but he didn't clap. He came in and he put his hands directly onto my body out of nowhere, and I screamed. And it was me, this guy was standing right inside of the room. And I, not kidding, I don't know if you remember this part. I pulled something in my back because I tensed up and screamed so hard and was so terrified that like I fucked up my fucking back.
Remember that time when you forgot I was in the car with you?
I told that story at work one time, and this lady at like an adjacent desk just started hysterically laughing, and she was like, "You're stupid." So I was like, "Thank you." What happened was, I was in the car, and I look over and I saw Keith, and I was like, "Oh!" and I was saying how I forgot he was in the car. Like, he was in the driver's side. I was in the passenger side. I forgot he was in the car. And they were like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, what? And I was like, I thought, because he stopped the car, I had, like, assumed that he got out of the car. Because we were at a rest stop. I thought he got out. Because you always have to pee, so I just assumed you. So, in my mind, you'd gotten out of the car. when you stopped and, turned the car off. And I was like looking at my phone, and then when I looked up, you had not gotten out of the car. In fact, you were just looking at me, I think. And I was like, it was terrifying. Also, and I don't know if this is true, this is just how I assume it. When I see Keith suddenly, like when he wasn't there and then he suddenly is, I have this moment of panic, like, who are you? And then I think it's because in my mind Keith is so little tiny that suddenly there's a 6'1" man in our kitchen, and I'm like, who are you? And then I have to I mentally resize him, and then everything's fine. There was a point I was making or something.
You were talking about how the mic was off.
Thank you. Yes, that is important. And the reason why, and then we recorded the whole episode again, and that's fine, and that's whatever, and all of that, and the Iraq and such. But Keith said this hilarious thing in the episode that we didn't record properly, where we were talking about Working Girl, and I was talking about how Sigourney Weaver, we were talking about how old she was or something like that. And she's 73, and I said, I'd still scissor her, and you said, and she would turn to dust. And I laughed so fucking hard, and I keep thinking about that. I'm like, that deserves to be said out loud to people to hear it, Oh, that was so funny to me. I'm so glad. Would you recommend this movie?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, same. I think it really captures something.
I really can't believe I haven't seen it and barely remember hearing anything about it. It's a shame.
It really captures something, it does a lot of, it really captures something of the 90s sort of indie sort of thing that was happening.
It's also gorgeous.
Yes.
The way it's shot and the colors and
it is
despite
visually striking. There are choices cinematically that I was immediately I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh, there are shots just it's before the guy that you said, is that Richard Jenkins? It's just of the water cooler.
Yeah.
Oh.
And when he looks through the bottle.
Oh my God. I mean, oh my God.
And when she's following Chloe in the rain.
Yes.
I love that shot.
So good.
And you see that she's got her umbrella and she's wearing the matching.
Oh. So many, there's, the colors, and really something that I really, really love is that.
And the comedy is pretty subtle, some of it. But I love this shit. Her first day there, when they go to lunch, and first she's in a very tiny chair. And
no, she's not. She said, "I'll get you a chair," and she said, "I can just sit here." And
okay.
I
missed what happened.
Yeah.
And then she brings her a stool, which is the same height as the table, and oh my God,
I know. But they're all what I really loved is they all have a very unique style.
Yes.
Which is something that I feel doesn't happen in movies as much anymore.
Yeah,
it's so it's so 90s. It was so 90s. They have such 90s style, which was sort of this vintagey throwback, but done contemporary, and this was just I definitely recommend this movie.
Also, the background artists, there's a lot of stuff that I feel is
so good,
ex-contemporaneous. I remember there's someone that speaks up during the all staff meeting who has a hairstyle that I'm like, this is a very 60s hairstyle that you don't see people doing in a retro way. Way.
Yeah.
And she's not, she's not like a hipster or something.
Yeah.
She's just.
Yeah.
And I thought that was very interesting. And the suit her dad buys her.
Yeah.
Is very, I don't know, you're a senator.
Yeah.
But
they
not.
Call it a power suit.
Yeah. But not like a Hillary.
Yeah.
It's more like a Nancy, if you know what I mean.
So this is the final episode of our...
Also, Paul Booney? Is that his name? No. Paul that plays her dad.
The guy. Oh God. Garrick's dad.
Is that who it is?
I think so.
Elam.
No. Oh God.
Elam is Garrick's name.
I know. I'm trying to think of. Oh, what's his dad's name?
Paul Dooley.
Dooley. Yeah.
You would, if you don't know his name, you would definitely recognize him.
Yeah. He's been in
1,000,005 things. And forever.
And
he's like the guy. He's in the same category as the guy who died a few years ago. I can't remember his name, but he was in Die Mommy Die. And he plays the husband. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't remember his name.
His name Butler. Paul Dooley apparently does a voice in the Cars franchise.
Yeah, I believe that.
So there's a lot of those.
Keith is just going through his oeuvre now.
Yep.
So it'll be a minute.
Yeah, before I get to DS9. N. Na. Ina.
Ichi knock knock? No.
Inabrantane.
Inabrantane. God damn it. Fuck.
Ooh. Oh man, I kind of want to watch the Millennium series with Lance Hendrickson.
Right.
That had a crossover with what? X-Files?
X-Files, yeah.
Anyway. Paul Dooley. Shut up.
What's your favorite of the ones that we've watched?
Probably this one and Men at Work. No, this one in Lawn Dogs, really.
Yes. Yeah, Lawn
Holy
Dogs is
shit.
probably my favorite. And
Brockovich was solid.
Brockovich was solid. Working Girl's solid.
Yep.
Men at Work is a solid turd that came out into your pants while you're grocery shopping. Like you don't want that.
While you're grocery
The time, it's one of my favorite
You
stories.
said your recent post said it was like the sensation of peeling your eyeballs like grapes?
Yes.
Is that what you said?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was a real bummer.
Yeah. Definitely Clockwatchers was a surprise. I don't want to say it was a surprise.
You've seen it, right?
No. So many times I've said, I feel like
Hey, man. Let's be friends, okay?
Roommates who sleep together with benefits.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you want to end it there, or do you want to say more?
No, I like this theme, and I especially since
Yeah.
two gyms that I would have never. Well, it just reminds me, like Clockwatchers and Lawn Dogs, especially, are like the reasons we do this.
Yeah.
And the reasons we do themes.
Yes.
Is these constraints lead us to find things that we wouldn't probably at least as fast.
Yeah.
come to.
Yeah. Right.
So, 2 in 1 month.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
And Clockwatchers was a last minute add-on once you
Right.
realized it was an extra weekend.
Because we had set up a whole plan for September, for all 4 weekends in September, and we're like, that's it. And it was literally, we were about to watch Lawn Dogs. And I was like, there are 5 Saturdays in September.
Which is so wild because it's
I know,
a short month.
I don't know. It just really threw me. So we
And last
added.
month we had a blue moon.
So yeah, we threw in Clockwatchers, and it's
great.
We're better for it. The only downside is that means that we only have 4 weekends for Halloween.
Yeah.
That's always hard. Keith proposed that we started early, but I'm glad we watched Clockwatchers instead. I think.
Yeah. But I like this theme, and I hope that we can
keep doing it.
Yeah, I think there's. Yeah, I'm glad we're found things this time. I was, last year.
Yeah. Well, we went, going to work with Dolly. I think that was a good first start for this.
Yeah, well, and that came out once I found it difficult to find things most overtly about working class rebellion.
Yeah.
Go figure.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Yeah, anyway.
Yeah, I definitely would recommend. I'd recommend watching Lawn Dogs. I would recommend watching Clockwatchers.
Mm-hmm.
I think Aaron Brockovich, it's a solid Hollywood film. Working Girl, it's a fun 80s film. Men at Work, you know what? We'll save you the trouble. We watched it so you didn't have to.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think this is one of those months where we had a lot of good ones. We don't always get that lucky. Nothing's going to top August for me. I think that's probably going to be my favorite one.
Yeah.
Even over my birthday month.
Yeah. Oh, definitely over mine.
Because you do this thing where you're like, I want to watch painful. I'm going to.
Not intentionally.
That's what you say.
Oh, fuck. Yeah.
Yeah.
We got to go hammer out a Halloween lineup.
I know. Well, we do.
Fucking A.
We have a solid.
We're going to be okay.
Yeah. We have a solid
I was
start.
real worried. I was really blanking, and I didn't like that was happening, and that created a feedback loop.
Yeah.
Of Frozen.
I don't mean this in a negative way, but I feel like you're like, what can I think of?
Yeah.
And I don't trust that I can't, if I'm trying to think of something, my brain is like, those things don't exist. So I just do the most simplistic Googling. How I came up with the ones that I came up with, I Googled the complicated phrase 80s horror movies.
Yeah.
And then I just started scrolling through different lists, which is what I've been doing. I'm like 80, and I did 90s horror movies, and I did the same thing. And there are so many shits that come up.
Yes.
One year we'll have to do. I don't think I want to do it for Halloween.
Okay.
But I will have to watch Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Oh yeah.
I've never seen it, despite the fact that it stars Suzanne Snyder.
Oh shit. Yeah.
Who is used to be the only thing that came up when I would Google
your name.
Your dead name.
Given to death.
Yeah.
Is there not a movie called Dead Name yet? That should be a.
That would be that's a great idea.
Great horror movie title. Yeah. Well, this is all I wanted to say. I really want to watch her other 2 films now. Jill Sprecher.
Interesting. Okay. I mean, I don't know if I do, but
okay. Why not?
I don't know anything about them. I just know that she's done them. So,
I just watched the trailer this morning for Thin Ice, which is a more recent one in 2011. It's got Greg Kinnear and Alan Arkin and David Harbour.
Oh, okay. I'd watch that.
And I think the premise seems to be Greg Kinnear is trying to do some kind of insurance scam that backfires.
That's hot. I'd watch that.
The other one is 13 Conversations About One Thing, which I don't really know about. Oh, here's a fun biographical fact I learned about her, too, is that she was mugged 3 times while living in New York. After the second time, she had to have brain surgery. But she didn't move. Yeah. And then she suffered another head injury.
Oh, my God.
But she woke up to see someone smiling down at her, a stranger, and apparently that was the inspiration for her shot in 13 Conversations About One Thing.
Aw. That sounded so condescending, and I didn't.
Which also has Alan Arkin.
Nice.
Okay, thanks.
I like Alan Arkin.
R.I.P.
Truly. Wait until dark.
Yeah, man. Holy shit.
Watch that.
Yeah, I really want to watch Sorcerer because the recently deceased Alan Arkin is in it, as well as it's directed by the recently deceased William Friedkin.
Oh.
And it's got Roy Scheider, who I don't know if he's still alive.
Okay.
A chunk of hematite or dolomite or granite flecked with iron from the moon. 1,000 million years of sitting still, and then a coffee break. And then the same, then lunch, another billion more. The sun exhausts its fuel, subsumes the planet Earth as a red giant melting all of this. I vaporize, then go out for a smoke, then back again, another billion years. The galaxy thins out into the void. 459, 459 again, 459 again, 459 again, again 459 again.
Predicted the future.
Shut the fuck up.